The execution of Blaine Milam, the demon exorcism murder of Amora Carson. East Texas, December 2008. A quiet trailer home in a small town outside. Tatum would soon become the center of one of the most disturbing murder cases in modern American history. A 13-month-old girl, beaten, bitten, and broken in what her killers called an exorcism. This is the story of Blaine Milam, the so-called demon slayer, who now faces the ultimate punishment: execution by lethal injection in the state of Texas. We retrace the nightmare of baby Amora Carson's death, the chilling trials, and the desperate appeals. But the question remains: was this a crime of pure evil or the tragic outcome of madness, lies, and junk science? Please like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. THE 911 call. December 2nd, 2008. Just before noon, a call comes into Rusk County Emergency Dispatch. On the line, an 18-year-old man named Blaine Milam. His voice is frantic. He tells operators that his girlfriend's baby little Amora is dead. Dispatcher: Sir, what happened to the child? Milam: I don't know. I just found her like this. She's gone. But investigators arriving at the scene would find a reality that made hardened officers recoil in horror. The crime scene, the trailer, was small, cluttered, ordinary from the outside. But inside, authorities discovered the mutilated body of 13-month-old Amora Bain Carson. Her injuries defied comprehension: 24 human bite marks, 18 broken ribs, multiple skull fractures, a torn liver, lacerations covering her tiny body, even damage to her genitals. One officer later called it the worst thing I've seen in 30 years of law enforcement. The exorcism story. Milam and the baby's mother, 18-year-old Jessica Carson, at first claimed they had left Amora alone for an hour and returned to find her dead. But their stories began to crumble under interrogation. Soon, a different narrative emerged. They believed Amora was possessed by demons. They admitted they tried to perform an exorcism, but their accounts shifted, each blaming the other. Who actually killed Amora? The mother? The fiancé? Both? The trial. In 2010, Blaine Milam went on trial for capital murder. Prosecutors painted him as a sadistic monster who inflicted hours of torture. The evidence was overwhelming. They said DNA, blood, and bite marks. The jury agreed. Milam was convicted and sentenced to death. At just 20 years old, Milam became the youngest man on Texas death row. Meanwhile, Jessica Carson, Amora's own mother, was sentenced to life in prison without parole. Prosecutors said she enabled and participated in the fatal abuse. Two teenagers claiming to fight demons had destroyed a child's life with their own. I didn't kill my little girl. Over the years, Blaine Milam has maintained his innocence. In a rare prison interview, he looked into the camera and said, I didn't kill my little girl. I wish I could go back and stop her, but I can't. But was this a desperate lie? Or the truth of a young man caught in a storm of delusion and dysfunction? The evidence problem. As appeals dragged on, a troubling issue surfaced: bite mark evidence. Once considered solid forensic science, bite mark analysis has since been widely discredited. Experts now call it junk science. Several convictions nationwide have been overturned because of it. Milam's defense argued his trial relied heavily on this unreliable method, combined with DNA testimony that has since been called into question. They also argued that Milam is intellectually disabled, something that would make his execution unconstitutional. The legal battles. Milam's execution has been scheduled twice before, in 2019 and 2021. Both times, last-minute appeals won him temporary stays. But higher courts eventually denied his claims. In September 2025, Texas set a new date. This time, the appeals are nearly exhausted. The Texas Board of Pardons and Paroles unanimously denied clemency. His lawyers made one last plea to the U.S. Supreme Court. arguing that unreliable forensic science and his intellectual disability should spare his life. As of now, time is running out. The bigger picture. Blaine Milam's case is just one piece of a larger trend. By the end of this year, 42 executions are scheduled across 8 states, the highest pace in over a decade. Texas alone has already carried out 5. Florida is breaking records under Governor Ron DeSantis, signing more death warrants than any governor before him. The machinery of death in America is grinding forward. For supporters, it's justice. For critics, it's state-sanctioned cruelty built on flawed systems. Evil or madness? So, who was Blaine Milam? A sadistic killer? A delusional teenager manipulated by his girlfriend? Or another product of a justice system too eager to convict on bad science? The truth may be darker than all of those options. That 2 young adults, lost in drugs, superstition, and violence, tortured a baby under the guise of religion, and now only one faces the needle. Conclusion. On September 25th, in Huntsville, Texas, the death chamber doors may finally open for Blaine Milam. The gurney awaits. The needle awaits, but so do the doubts, the questions, and the demons that still haunt East Texas. This is not just a story about murder. It is a story about belief, broken science, and a justice system walking the razor's edge between truth and execution.